Hello everyone. Today with another show of BlockTalks. So in this episode, we have Sophia, Chief Innovative Officer at InsightX, and this company is dedicated to engine safety tools that protect and transform the Web3 ecosystem. Sophia is from PhD to engineering background. Sophia brings her passion for technology and innovation to the cutting edge of crypto. In this episode, we will be learning more about Sophia's unique journey, InsightX innovative ideas and solutions, how Sophia leads with a focus on safety, blockchain, education, and growth into the Web3 space, the challenges building in this space, and secure and transparent Web3 ecosystem. We are going to just start with the first introduction, about the Sophia and how you have started your journey in this Web3 and the blockchain space.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, first of all, hi everyone, and thank you so much for inviting me here today. It's really a pleasure to share a little bit about my personal journey and about us at InsightX and how did this project come about and how did I end up in this project. So yeah, I mean, inside us at InsightX, it's still a startup. We're still a small company. We are only 2 years old, and really how everything started was about that Web3 is difficult to navigate, it's very obscure, especially when it comes to on-chain trading. There are a lot of malicious tokens. It's difficult to get a good solid assessment of whether is a token a good investment or not. And essentially what happened that we've been a group of friends who've been in crypto and Web3, and we got a bit tired of getting scammed and just losing a lot of money on tokens and assets which we believed was good. We had friends recommending it to us, or it just had a really good sentiment, and in the end, it ended up being a rug pull. So we felt like there weren't really any tools that could really satisfy our needs of getting a good assessment of the assets. So we essentially decided to build our own to help us and help also traders who are maybe in the same situation, try to get a better understanding of how healthy is a token before you decide to invest in it. So that's kind of how the idea came about from InsightX.
Uh, from your journey, from a PhD in engineering to a leading innovation at the Web3 company, what was the moment about you personally, were made for this space?
Yeah. I mean, I know it's a bit maybe unique or a bit more special journey, but essentially what happened is that I am an engineer. I come from a very logical, data-driven mindset. That's what I've been doing throughout my studies, bachelor, master, and then also the PhD. Really research-driven, data-driven, and really trying to solve problems that are actually complex, which you cannot solve immediately, but you need some time to develop some solutions. So I saw a potential here with this problem statement that we had at InsightX, which was really relevant. And I could see that the developments that we're making could actually really help massive amounts of people. So I thought that it could be a very useful place where I can put my skills, put my understanding and my data-driven mindset to try to make a difference and try to make this space healthier and safer. I think especially if you're new within crypto and new within Web3 and on-chain trading, it is so difficult. Like it's like a ball and you don't know from which side should you grab the ball and it just keeps slipping out of your hands. That's how I felt like when I entered this space. There's not really a clear guide on how you should do it. How do you get started? It feels like everybody is already much smarter than you. Everybody, people are tweeting a lot of different things. Should you believe everything that's being tweeted? Like it's just confusing, and it's not like there's a centralized exchange where you go there and everything is collected and systematically shown. On-chain trading is a very, very different space. So I was, so to say, motivated by the potential that I felt like we could reach by developing the products at InsightX. And I felt like that I could use my skills here to help us, reach larger crowds and develop innovative products that can make a difference.
Amazing. So, about your a day journey, being an InsightX Chief Innovating Officer. So, what does a day in a life at InsightX like? You all work with the giant of like the pump up fun, Axiom, many more. So, how about your day in a life at InsightX?
Yeah, so we are a very small team, and we have a very close connection. We are four in total, and we communicate, daily and very frequently, and coordinate, tasks. So we have a division, so to say, between the technology and development team and the more commercial team within, our project. So I'm obviously in the more commercial side, but we still, need to collaborate closely, because you cannot just draw a line between technology and commercial when what we are doing has to, so to say, manage both and put them together. So I work closely with our CEO, where we are thinking about like a bigger, strategic mindset, how to develop our business, to which direction we develop our business, both with regard to marketing and co-marketing efforts, working together with our clients and strategic partners in a way that can, help us build our community and share awareness to our products. So I work a lot with that, coordinating with our partners and clients on that aspect. And then, of course, there is also the whole part of managing these partners and clients, their requests, their needs, and finding new ones, and trying to, showcase what we are doing, and the way that we believe that our tools can help them and their business and their users. So I do a lot of that, a lot on the B2B, business to business aspect, on a day-to-day basis, taking meetings, going to events, really, just spreading the word, and making sure that people know about us and know how important it is to do your own research and do your due diligence before you, so to say, ape into a new token, which is, what you commonly see on Twitter and a lot of places, like, oh, I just aped into this token and it got 400x. And then you see this and you're like, oh, I might as well do that. But that's probably one out of a million, or, one out of thousands that you can succeed just by pure luck. So we really want to bring awareness to the research needed for on-chain trading and prior to making decisions.
Amazing. We also travel a lot for attending conferences and the events for spreading words like about our company, what exactly we are doing, the vision we are taking out. So seems like the we are also saying into the same journey. So you are wearing so many hats like lead generation, marketing, strategy. So how do you balance growth with the innovation?
It's definitely tough. I think it's something that a lot of startups, face these type of situations when you have maybe limited resources, limited number of people, limited budget on certain things, but you still have a lot of things that are going on. And as you're growing, you have more and more, getting on your plate on a daily. So it's definitely challenging, and it definitely requires a lot of prioritization, communication between us, and just also getting better as a team of delegating tasks and asking help from each other. And if something comes up that's a higher priority, then that's how it is. Then maybe something else will a little bit be pushed back. But that's, of course, tough, because you want to succeed in everything, and you're a perfectionist, and you want everything to be fastly done at a high quality, and, be out and be ready. So it's definitely tough, and I think communication is key. And it can be difficult when, some of the team developers are often more introverted, they are more just in their own bubble, and so to say, to bring them in the loop and making sure that they are part of, the talk and part of those discussions, because their work is so crucial and it influences so many steps that, it's something that I've been really working on with my team, to make sure that we have a solid flow of communication, and people speak up when they are encountering, obstacles or shortcomings, so we can, as a team, solve those problems together and make sure we can perform and deliver to our best abilities.
Yeah, like team communication is really very important. And you mentioned about the developer side. They are the introvert, but yes, they are also very important for every communication. Like we have to communicate with them so that they can make it much, much better. and they have to be aware what exactly we are doing and what exactly we are planning to do, what exactly our client is asking from us. So yeah, every team member has holds a different responsibility and the position in the company. So let's jump on the InsightX. What exactly the InsightX is building, and why do you believe Web3 needs on-chain safety now more than ever, like more than ever from the earlier ones?
Yeah, so our mission, as I mentioned, has always been to try to make the space safer and therefore more profitable for on-chain traders like meme traders and so on. So that's, so to say, where all our products that we have developed are targeted towards. So we're moving in different avenues, but our flagship product, which has been the most popular, is our BubbleMap product, which is essentially a network graph of top holders of a given asset. And it shows how the asset has been transferred between these holders and whether they have been interacting with each other, forming different clusters. And based on this clustering, the size of the cluster, the number of the clusters, you're able to derive some conclusions whether this token looks healthy or whether there may be some suspicious activities associated with it. For example, if the developer team holds a large percentage of the asset, for example, if there's been a lot of volume botting happening on the asset. So there are certain signs that you can look for. And because now you have this visual, very easy to interpret graph, you don't have to analyze data yourself. You can just look at this beautiful interactive visual and draw some conclusions before you decide to click buy on this new trending meme token that all the influencers are posting about, and you believe that it's gonna be the next huge pump. So that's essentially, what the mission here. And I think, as you see, we're saying that the sentiment that we're hearing is that we are in a meme cycle, and meme coins have been trending, more trending probably than ever before. So many tokens are launched on Pump Fund, most of those actually a scam. So many other tokens are also launched on the smaller launch pads, but the trends are the same. A lot of the meme coins don't really bring long-term investment value. So they are quickly pumped and dumped. And then if you don't sell at that 1 millisecond, then you might be losing, all your investment. So I think that's why the relevance of the tools that we are building is extremely high right now, because we can really make a difference if we educate people and just have them spend that extra 1 second before they just click buy, because that can make the difference between them losing their assets or making 10x or 100x or so.
Yeah, like I agree with your point. Like meme coins are rolling out, and people are highly investing in the meme coins, and some of them are new, some of them are the experienced ones, and the way they are spreading in the market, it's really sometimes it's really very scary, and sometimes for the pupils like who are making money from them, it's really amazing for them. So I would like to know, like I will jump on the bubble maps as well, but I would like to know from you, like what is the most common red flag you have seen while analyzing blockchain data of the meme coins?
Whew, there are many different ones, because scamming is, so to say, and scammers and deceptiveness in this space is the typical cat and mouse game, and or the typical virus antivirus example, where meanwhile we are trying to combat the scams and the newly appearing deceptive behaviors. There's always newer and newer forms and ways that malicious players are trying to get a hold of your assets as a trader. So this is a space where innovation is nonstop and can never stop, because they will also never stop to try to outsmart us. So of course, when you're trading, there are certain patterns that could be good to look at. Like I mentioned, the top holder and the list of the top holders on its own can be very, very telling. What is the percentage of the asset that the top holders are holding? Is it significant amount of it that's held by only a few people? Then of course the risk might be higher, because then they have such a high control over the price of the asset. So that can indicate some kind of risk that you should be aware of. Again, their interactions and how have they been transferring funds from one to another, that can also be very telling. But often, it's often tricky because patterns can be seen and you can interpret these patterns, but there are also situations when, the pattern is not necessarily a bad sign. So in my opinion, a good assessment takes into account a lot of different elements. So you don't just look at the candlestick chart, or you don't just look at the bubble map. It should be a comprehensive, assessment where you look at the chart, you look at the bubble map, the top holders, the sentiment around the token, the socials, the token's community. And that should give you an idea how, is this a legit, is this a healthy token or a scam? Because these tools standalone can indicate certain behaviors. But if you really want to get an in-depth understanding and do your research, properly do your research, then you actually look at the combination of these different platforms and avenues, and then you make your conclusion. But that's the problem with meme trading, that things happen so fast. So you don't have time to do all this because this takes time. You have to click through everything and, make a good decision. So that's definitely the challenging part, that meme traders want quick solutions because they need a quick assessment, but they also want a correct assessment. So that's definitely the challenge that is existent in this space. And we're also trying to, resolve this.
Yeah, like sometimes when we go for the research part to check it out, all the things from the behind, from the background. In the meanwhile, the particular meme coin goes up, and sometimes, like when we go for the research, and the meme coin goes down, and everything can be vanished. So, my next question, like about the regarding the bubble maps, and I will join two questions. Like bubble maps makes blockchain data visual, but how does that actually improve safety on the on-chain? From the another side, you guys are building so many tools, like, and you are not just building as tools, you are just uh, shaping the narratives. So what is the biggest misunderstanding people still have about the Web3, still have about when they are visualizing the data from the blockchain, maybe on the bubble maps, maybe on some other tool? Because everyone is have some experience, maybe they want to look out some tools for data visualization, but being having a visualization, but still they are making some mistakes. Some of them are making some good profits. So what is the misunderstanding the people are facing right now into the Web3 space, and how bubble maps data helping them to get a very clear insights from the data?
Yeah, I mean, we need to here differentiate between experienced players and newcomers in the Web3 because they have very different needs. If you've been trading for a long time, you do have a knack for things. You do look at the candlestick chart and you're already able to draw some conclusions from it. And then when you open the bubble map, you have an easier maybe time to understand what you're seeing. And draw the conclusions. And you maybe have had some previous asset losses, you learned from your mistakes, and now you kind of have gone through a long learning journey until you come to this point. So that's of course a completely different demographic. It's a completely different group when we're talking about newcomers who have no prior trading experience, not even in traditional sense, let alone Web3 or on-chain, or maybe they've only been doing perpetuals and then they come from a very different environment, and then they really need to go through a lot of steps before they become successful. So when it comes to the bubble map and for example a newcomer, then I think what's important and what we're trying to do is to really help them understand how to use the tool and what do the different features mean, how can they really get the most out of it, because yes, it's highly visual, but of course different elements of it have certain meanings and different patterns have certain interpretations. So I think education in this case also with respect to tools like BubbleMap is very important, so people will be able to use them correctly. Because what we also experience is, what I kind of touched upon before, is just people drawing very quick conclusions on just one tool or just one analysis, instead of, trying to get the full picture, which is understandable when, as you said, in meme trading, a coin can, pump and dump, and you might, lose your entry position if you're wasting too much time. So that's why this is so challenging, because there is, some kind of compromise here to be made. But what we're trying to do is to help people get the comprehensive picture as quickly as possible, so they can still get that early entry, but they have the peace of mind that they have done the research, and they are investing in this because they have some foundation to believe that this is a solid token and a healthy asset to put their money in. But yes, there's still definitely a lot of challenges with that, and a lot of misconceptions, particularly with the newcomers. But of course, because this space is changing so fast, if you're someone who's been in trading for a long time, but you don't bother to keep up with, the newly occurring technologies, the innovation that's happening in the space, then of course you will also be left behind, because you always need to, kind of follow the flow of what's happening.
Yeah, education is really very important for everything. I would like to know, like, if you got a chance to had a create a course, maybe with the name of Web3 101, what would be the first lesson?
That's a good question. That's definitely a good question. I think, like if it's for complete newbies, then really, just start from the fundamentals. Probably people, know of more traditional trading. They know of more traditional stocks. Some of the Web3 principles and, the core fundamentals are very closely, tightly connected to those. So I think if we can bring people something that they're already familiar with, that they can connect with more easily, that can be, a definitely good foundation. But what's also important is to highlight the differences of how, for example, traditional stocks, traditional trading differs from Web3 and the Web3 space. But I think starting from the fundamentals, it would be something that I would highlight. Meanwhile, get people to understand this and try it, of course, themselves as well, because you will remember something much better if you have had hands-on experience with it. But on the other hand, it's scary because it's money that we are playing with. So you also want to have a good idea about investing and what you invest in. And then, of course, kind of building up a tool set or a toolkit or a toolbox that you can use as a trader, let's say, when you're moving through different assets, something that you can always go back to, and you can get reliable information there, instead of wasting your time, wasting your money, wasting your resources. That would be also something that I think could be really, really valuable. And to get this kind of confusing, obscure space, popping up notifications, tweets, somebody says this, another person says the opposite, which one is the truth? I think to have a toolkit where that's where you can find some reliable information, that would be very, very valuable. And I think it could help a lot of traders get more insights and get more clarity, when they are performing their activities.
Yeah, like I feel like every in the every organization, or maybe in every work like which we are performing out, a standard procedure is really very important. So maybe if we are going to have some research, we are going to invest in something, we are going to reading out something, these standards should be carry on for having a wide range of knowledge, or maybe wide range of uh, specialty in analyzing any token or something. So in every company, in every project, tokenomics is really a very important part. So, and we have seen like lots of the projects have some shady tokens, and at the end they go from the rug pulls as well. So from rug pulls to shady tokenomics, like how tools like BubbleMaps help both retail and the institution, uh, how they are navigating the mess.
Yeah, it is quite a mess, to be honest, and it also depends on what what exactly is your purpose, because bubble maps can have several use cases. It can also bring success stories, can identify early scams, but it's also about due diligence a lot, and really take responsibility and take action before you just with your feelings go into something. For example, bubble maps, another important use case of bubble maps, when it comes to token listing or centralized exchanges, is that, let's say, that's your responsibility to identify new tokens to be listed, then scanning through the token and looking at the bubble map of the token can help you identify if the token is meeting certain kind of standards or criteria that your centralized exchange requires from a token. So that's, for example, also another important use case that a bubble map can have. So it's not just for on-chain traders and meme coin traders. The bubble map has much more depth in it. It's just the most common way that people are using this product to identify, scammy activities. But it's also important to note that, sometimes we have people coming into our community just sending a screenshot of a bubble map and asking, oh, is this a good bubble map or a bad bubble map? And, it's very difficult to answer. And, we also cannot say like, we can guarantee that this is going to be a good investment or not, because it's all about, you have to take some kind of responsibility, because the bubble map is there as a visualization tool, but it's not a red flag, green flag, type of thing. It can show you something, but the decision at the end of the day is on you. And we're trying to make this easier. And with our future developments, hopefully it's going to be even more intuitive for you. It can help you even easier to identify whether it's a good or bad token. But at the end of the day, the decision, everybody has their decision, and nobody, can stand for giving financial advice in a way and be, responsible afterwards. So it's about, using the tool correctly. That's also, very important to note.
Yeah, like you choose the hardest part. Like lots of the companies and the projects are coming out in this space. Uh, Chase the trend. They are going to, lots of the projects are chasing the trends, and but you guys are focusing more on the safety part. So I would like to know what make you take the harder but more important, like what, how exactly the vision behind, like how to choose that particular path.
The motivation and the vision behind our project.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I think it was a lot about our own experience when trading in the space, that we found it difficult to find reliable information when going on trading terminals, or when looking at launch pads, and even being sometimes, because a lot of people trade by either, seeing a token that's trending on Twitter, big, crypto influencers posting about it, posting their chart or a picture of their winnings and so on. And then, people just mindlessly just go into it because they fully believe that person. Or the other way around, that, you have someone closely, like your friend or someone from the crypto space, recommending a token to you. But I think we've got burnt in all of those scenarios. So I think why this project is where it is, and why it was born, and why we have such a deep mission, because we've been in the other chair, we've been in the other seat, we were the on-chain traders, getting screwed over by a lot of scams, and losing money, and trying, all this, and all these years of experience, and searching for, okay, what are the tools that, how do you become better, how do you learn from your own mistakes and actually make better decisions. And since that was really hard, we believed it was really hard to find the correct and righteous information and get an easy overview. That was kind of the fuel or the motivation, and that's how we started discussing, could we do something, because we're pretty multi-skilled. We have people in the project who've been in IT for like 20 years. We have another one who's been having crypto startups before, so knows the crypto space very deeply. Then I'm more on the business development, commercial aspects. So we kind of quickly realized that we have very diverse skills that could complement each other very nicely if we were to start our own project. So it was a little bit of good place, good time, right people talking about it, that led to InsightX being born.
Yeah. So, I would like to know, like, I have seen so many things in this space, and as a media company, we are also exploring the things, and we also did our research before making it some noise. So, I have seen like lots of the pupils are here in this space, like they can manipulate the on-chain data as well. Like whatever you want to show on the on-chain, they can do it. Maybe they can float some amount. Maybe they can manipulate the numbers into the on-chain data, similar to centralized, similar to taxes as well. So, if we talk about on-chain safety, and on-chain safety feels like an afterthought in the most project, how InsightX making it a core layer?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it, that it shouldn't be an afterthought, right? Like theoretically, like ideally, on-chain safety should be there, all along. And when you're launching a coin, I think what the bigger vision is when it comes to the deployers and people launching meme tokens, that they should try to, keep it healthy and keep that, not just that chart healthy, but also the bubble map healthy. Because there's a lot of focus on the candlestick chart, like making sure that the chart looks good, it looks balanced, it looks healthy. But it's also, motivating the teams themselves to pay attention to their token and try to, um, make sure that they have a healthy distribution and that they're being honest with their communication and with their intention. Because if they are not, they will be flagged. These tools will catch them. And, people, more and more people will hopefully start using tools like the bubble map and contract, smart contract scanning, and so on and so on. And these tools will flag certain activities and certain patterns that can be suspicious, let's say, by the deployer team or others who have interacted with that asset. And that means that less and less people will buy into that asset because they will get these red flags. And of course, if you see a red flag with a new token, then maybe you will not buy into it because you are, of course, trying to make money. So I think instead of, having on-chain safety as an afterthought, it should be there from the beginning, all along, from the deployer team, but also from the trader's perspective, to keep it healthy, to keep it fair, to keep the communication honest, instead of being deceptive. But of course, it's gonna be the mission of getting rid of all scams and all deceptiveness in Web3 is a big mission, and some would probably say it's an impossible task to take on. But I think if we can just minimize it, or we can just make it harder for scammers to succeed, then we're already doing something good for the space.
Okay, so can you share any case study, or maybe you often speak in the conferences? So, what's the one story or stats like you always share into the conferences, or maybe in any event or something that shocked the crowd?
That is one from our most recent. We have added a few more features to new features to our bubble maps, and one of them was a volume bot detection. This is a feature that nobody else has had before. It's reliant on some pattern analysis, and we try to have AI under the hood to strengthen our analysis, and it's really good at catching volume botting on different tokens. And there are certain scammers who are very heavily dependent on this, and they very much want to hide volume botting on a given token. So after we launched this feature and it went online, and we tweeted about it, and people started using it, and a lot of traders thought that there was so much value in having this additional information. And then I think a few weeks passed, and then we started having volume botters, so scammers writing writing in our community chat, asking us to disclose the information, how exactly we are detecting these, and trying to bribe us to disable this feature because it's, and I'm quoting, putting them out of business. That is what they said to us. So that was great, and it was such an amazing moment, because that really made us feel like we're doing something right. If scammers are coming to us and telling us that we're putting them out of business and wanting to bribe us to disable this feature, which is obviously completely against of our mission, and we would never entertain this or accept anything like that. But it was a great feedback for us to understand that, okay, we're doing something correctly. We are solving real problems, and we are making the space better. We're getting rid of some scammers. We're putting out some scammers from their business. So that was definitely an interesting interaction.
So you're also making a database of the scammers, okay, and then you can go to us, okay, these are the scammers, like why you are asking to remove it. Amazing to know.
Soon
So,
enough.
so you have built so many tools, like which we have discussed. So, if you had a chance to get the unlimited resources you have, what would be the next big tool your team or you are going to build that keep the Web3 users safe?
We have many different ideas. Some of that we are still, working out and we cannot fully share, but we do see a lot of potential in the BubbleMap product. And we, so to say, look at our current product as a great starting point. But, it launched a bit over a year ago, and I think we've also gone through a lot of learning since then. And meanwhile, we are improving the current product and, implementing additional features. We also have a bigger vision for an even more advanced version of the BubbleMap with features and functionalities that nobody else is doing yet on the market. And we believe that can really revolutionize the way that people are using this tool and to help people, almost treat this tool like a candlestick chart, that it is the go-to thing, that you, of course, you look at the chart when you want to evaluate a token. So we want the same, that of course, you look at the bubble map. It should be a given. So with these new developments that we are working on, we hope that the bubble map can become an even more fundamental, essential tool for people to use, and more people will actually, look at it and will be a nice complement or addition to the candlestick chart. So more improvements to the bubble map, a completely new generation of the bubble map is definitely something that's in the pipeline for us. And then we also, of course, have some other products along the line of on-chain safety, also, capitalizing on how is the sentiment around the token. And, it's one thing that you analyze blockchain data and the smart contract, but how can we actually gather information from the community, from the socials, from the sentiment around it, and how can we use this information to enhance our assessment and help people get an even fuller, better understanding of a token. So that's also definitely something that we have a lot of discussions about, and we believe that could be very helpful for traders as well to, as we mentioned, to get the full picture and try to be able to get the full picture in one place. So you don't have to spend time going into different platforms and websites, but get a quick but full assessment. That's, the overall vision.
Got it. So it seems like you guys are building so many things, and maybe within 2 years, we are going to see so many growth into the InsightX with some new tools, with some crazy insights and data side, and from the visionary side, it's really amazing to see. So I would like to know, like sometimes even the traders, like they did a lots of research before investing or before having a trade, but sometimes we also do some emotional decisions as well. And we believe like a Web3 can reshape the global finance. So what is the one moment that that made you emotionally believe that's the true? Maybe
But
regarding any token, maybe regarding any data insights, maybe regarding any visuals from the Bubbles map.
that made me take an emotional decision. I think for me, the biggest emotional decisions is when somebody who I know also in real life and is, let's say, very hyped and passionate about a token and tells me that, okay, this is a good investment or a good token, or, even when it comes to perpetuals, that you should, short it or long it because I know it's going to happen. Then, even though I'm a researcher and I like to, do my own studying before, I can get, quickly carried away when it's someone that I've known for a long time or I trust and I believe, what they say. And they're like, oh, this is the moment, this is the time you need to do this. If you like, you cannot spend more time on researching and doing it. And then I would quickly, maybe jump into something. That's something that, has happened. And afterwards, I realized that, okay, maybe I should have spent that extra time. Maybe I don't get the perfect entry, but I would have been able to, avoid, the losing of my assets. Because yes, it's not because your friend has bad intentions or wants to screw you over, but maybe he or she genuinely believes that what she's telling you. But maybe your friend is also not having the full, picture in their head. Maybe, it is a token they saw on Twitter trending and they bought it themselves because they thought, okay, this influencer, I've been following this influencer for a long time and I have genuinely, good, ideas and impressions from this influencer. So I'm going to buy this asset and I'm going to tell all my friends to buy this asset as well because I want them to succeed as well. But it's not a guarantee, and you cannot know that when your friend is recommending a token to you. You cannot know why they are recommending it to you. Have they done their own research, or have they just read one Twitter post about it and it looked good and they invested? And now, of course, they also want other people to invest. So it's tricky because when it's someone you know and trust, you tend to just, you know, emotionally, driven by yes, go into it immediately instead of doing your own part as well.
Yeah, like in the present, like lots of the projects and the tokens are running by the influencers only. They are just making some hype, inviting all the friends, then making some benefits over there, and they're gone. So we talk a lot regarding InsightX. We learned so many things about the bubble maps, how they can make some safety, how bubble maps can helping them with the data visualization. So I would like to wrap up this episode with the last question, like. What exactly the message would you like to convey to the audience, to the traders, to the newbies, to the experienced one, uh, about the Web3 space, where we are going out, and what is the most common important thing which we have to remember before sitting, before checking out anything? A message would you like to convey to the community?
I think, Web3 has a lot of potential going forward, really revolutionizing finance and the way, that finance is carried out. I know it's, some of the things are very new, very innovative. And if you're a newbie or you never really interacted with it, it can be surprising or it can make you feel scared. I think it shouldn't, there was this, maybe there's still this notion about, crypto assets within the normies that is a scam and, you have to be super careful because everything crypto is just bad, bad, bad. It's used for illegal activities and so on. Obviously, it's not like that. But obviously, crypto and Web3, and especially on chain, has its own risks. And I think, being aware of those risks and not just blindly doing things is going to really help you on a long run. So even if miss the perfect entry right now for a meme token, maybe in that amount of time you learn something valuable that will help you in your future trades. So I think expecting to be successful and expecting to do those 100x and so on right away from the beginning for all the tokens you invest in without doing any kind of studying, without really looking up anything, that's not realistic. And I know some people expect that. They try to do that. And then after they lose their assets, then they're like, oh, this crypto, this is not for me. This is a huge scam. And then they just completely exit the space. And it's just the wrong journey. Like it's just completely the wrong steps that you've taken. So how do you expect to arrive at the correct destination if you've taken the wrong journey from the beginning? So I think that's very challenging to guide people at the beginning. So I hope and I wish that people who listen to this and people who are talking about crypto and talking about entering the space really focus on doing their research prior to playing with their own money, because then you will have a better chance of succeeding. And of course, you will feel better about yourself as well. And then you can actually set yourself up for success in this space instead of a quick failure and a quick disappointment. So I think that would be really helpful. And I hope that, more people will turn to that instead of being driven by feelings and quick successes.
Amazing. Your insight is really very helpful for the traders and for the everyone. And if someone is looking for to understand the Web3 much better, and they are having insights for prioritizing security and build something that truly stands to test of the time. I believe like this episode is packed with full of insights, full of the values, full of the safety and the security part. So thank you so much, Sophia, for your insights, and thank you so much for sharing some highly valuable things in this episode. Really looking forward to have you in another podcast, maybe for the part two or something. Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward with you.
Yeah, thank you as well. I hope that there's been some useful information being shared, and your listeners will we'll finish this with some takeaways that can help them, make better decisions in the future. And yes, I hope to be back at another time if, if there's an interest to talk more about bubble maps, about safety and scams. I'm sure as scams are evolving, there will always be something to talk about. So thank you again for having me today. I had a really good time and look forward to being back in the future.
Sure. So, guys, follow us more for the powerful stories. Follow the InsightX. Follow the InsightX and the Bubble Maps. Check out the Bubble Maps insights and check out their tool, how they are visualizing the data. And thank you so much. We'll meet in another episode.